Hello everybody, RG here, and on this episode I'm just gonna show you how to make a tattoo machine with a 3D pen and a little electric motor. So you'll see it's coming up. So this is what you need. Alright, you need your motor, 12 volt, and you need your 3D pen, which is this one here. On this occasion I'm using, like I've already made, I'm gonna show you how to make these two, which is the same thing. This one is made with a on-off button, and this just connects with a Y. Okay, but they're both made for an independent plug, like a 12 volt plug from 3, 4.5, 6, 7.5, 9, 12 volt low switch plug. So it could be something like this or like this, you know. So just gonna take them out of the way. So let's start, guys. Now the first thing I did, I made the screw for this. Okay, so it's really important to be able to adjust. So this is the first thing I did. Okay, I took a screw. All right, I filled up the crevice, okay, like this, bottom, top. On the metal, guys, it doesn't stick. Okay, so just the best thing to do is to start it from the bottom. Then you go to the top, something like that. Now you stop and you push it in. Okay, so now what you have to do is like to shape it. All right, so we'll push it inside the screw. Okay, so whatever the grooviest screw, the better. Like, meaning once you push in the material, it's gonna take all the, this is a Phillips, so it's gonna take all the shape of it. All right, so you don't want it to go low, this thing too low. Okay, this thing has to be the closest to the screw head. Okay, and you'll see why. Okay, so now what I'm doing is just making the handle. Alright, just like that. Oh, it burns, guys, so be careful once you do that. So you shape it. And don't worry about the roughness of all the material, because you're gonna end up flattening with a hot iron, so don't worry. So the screw is ready. Alright, but you always compress. The more compress the material, the better it is. Like, the more solid it's gonna end up being. So all right, now what I did next, I did this, but I already have one. Okay, I already have one. I'll show you what I did. Okay, I have to do this part now. Whoops, sorry. Okay, it's not refined, but obviously, and you see, this is what we need to do. All right, so I'll show it to you on this one. Alright, but first of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to push some of this material, which is exceeding. I don't want it there. It's like too close on the screw. So the fact that the tip is hot, so it helps me out with this. Okay. So now, what I'm making is this part here. Just gonna do this. So guess what I'm doing now? I'm gonna form the threads of the screw itself. So right now it's the pressure is gonna end up being on it. It has to be pressure on, so it takes the form of the screw. That's it. Okay, it's very important that this part and this part are not attached, that are detached. Very important. So now what I'm doing is I'm putting pressure and I'm forming the screw itself on it. Alright, so you see? So I'll be able to unscrew it once it cools off. Alright. In the meanwhile, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open my heat iron, my wood carver, because that's what I use. So you see, it just became a screw, a nut, I mean. Okay. See? There you go. So now I'm gonna take my tube. I'm gonna take a tube now. I'm gonna end up attaching it to it. Okay, in the meanwhile, as I said, my iron is heating up. So let's be basic. Okay. I don't want it to be too I'm gonna end up like pulling it out a bit so it's not as compact on the tube itself, because it needs to be a bit loose in case like there's different models that are a bit wider or thinner. This is when the screw is gonna kick in and it's gonna be the adjuster like this. Understand what I mean? Obviously you understand. So now you see, just gonna make it a bit looser. Okay, like this. And I'm gonna attach this part here. Alright, so attaching this part is gonna be the best way, maybe like this. Basic, okay? We don't want, because this thing, it solidifies, so we don't want it too tight, because the screw is gonna kick in eventually for the tightness. Alright, so see, this is what we want. And you see, let's see if my screw is adjusted properly, because I have to flatten this part, so, well, both parts actually. So you see, soon the screw is gonna be attaching on the tube, but I don't have it there yet. So this is when I make this part with my wood burner. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to put the fan on just for the fumes to escape. I have a fan here, and it's right on top of my head, like exactly where I'm working. So let's guide it towards it. Okay, so this is what we need to do. Pull it the lowest possible. Oops. Slippery bugger. Okay, so this is what we're doing. very important to have a fan if you're like you know, if you're using stuff like this. Like me, I'm an airbrush artist. Initially, that's how I first started with arts and everything. So it's very essential that I have a fan to make everything escape. So right now I'm making it most even possible, and I don't worry about all this because I'll eventually sand it up after that. So you see, this is what we need. Basic. We'll shape it later. So, I mean, but what's very important is for the screw to be attached to the plastic and the plastic to the screw. So now alright, so let's continue with this. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my scissors, I'm going to shape it here. Alright, so I have the scissors that cut through this material. So I just take out material right now. Alright, so let's do it. So now it should screw. It shouldn't be the snuggest, but I don't worry about that. I just want the screw to be able to go out. Once it goes out, that's my aim. I don't know if you see it. Like here is the flush part. Once I start screwing, continue, you see the screw is totally coming out. So now we're gonna be able to see, shall the tube immobilize itself on this. So you see now. You see? Now it's stuck. That's what we wanted to do initially and all along. So yeah, there we go. We have our base for the tattoo machine. So now I take the motor. Well, I have to reopen my printer, which is a pen. I love this machine. This machine is incredible. It doesn't work the way it should because it has 4 speeds and it only works on one because I think it's because I dropped it once. But and because I used to work out on very high heats, and that didn't, like, on the long run it didn't like it, so I have to be careful with my heats because it bugs. But if I keep it at around 185, 190 degrees, which should be Fahrenheit, I guess. I don't know. I guess, I don't know. Or Celsius. I guess it's Celsius actually. Yeah. Because it melts it at high temperature. Yeah. Then it keeps safe, like it doesn't bug. Like right now my machine is set at 185. So what I'm gonna try to achieve right now is like do this. Alright? That's what I'm trying to do. And I could put some on this side too, because I'll eventually be going there. Let's stop it for a second. Okay, what I'm gonna keep is the vents open, obviously. So, ain't this machine amazing? we don't care about the snugness because it will form itself once I apply the heating on and where I specifically targeted that. But it's important to keep the vents on open. So I'll just put off the fan since the smell evaporated, and let's keep on going. I'm gonna try to hurry because second leg of Barcelona PSG is coming on, and Liverpool Leipzig. Oh man, what a beating they got at Camp Nou, Barcelona. Mbappe. So what we do is like we always have to compact it. It's very important to compact. That's it. So from there on. And you'll be careful because me, my hands are used to this, but most probably yours are not. And we're gonna shape it around this. Oops. It's like a slinky. I have a slinky right here. Come on, guy. Come here. I call it the material guy. That's funny. So keep it snug and we compress. Snug, compress. By the way, I'm using purple because it's my favorite color. That's how it goes. And this material, it's PLA. PLA, it's a vegetable-based byproduct, which gives you this weird plastic, which is very thorough and strong, but it's biodegradable at the same time. So obviously you have to protect it if you wanna, like, you know, depending on the conditions, this material will be used. But it's very common material for 3D printers, meaning the printer ones, you know. So let's compact it a bit. Let's do that since it's still hot. And we're almost done with this part. The openings. Alright, so let's continue. So now I'm gonna put the most as on the base, because this is the base, obviously. So now fan back on and so let's flatten this baby out. So let's see where the openings are. Very shapeable material once it's hot. Very, like, it's incredible. So you just have to understand it. Alright, so let's do it. Okay, it's starting to take the shape of the, you know. Avoid breathing this stuff. As I said, you need a fan. If not, do it outside. I mean, in my case, I'm in Canada. At this time of year, it's not possible. So I have my setting inside the house. That's how it works. Alright, guys, I'm gonna pause it and do it properly. Alright, we're back with some heated up and you know, figured out position. Alright, so we did this, now we have to do the needle. The needle is basically what you have to do is do this, okay? Yeah, actually it's not the needle, it's the needle pusher, because I'm working with cartridges, which is the best thing. You know, it's so interchangeable. You just need one machine and you just interchange. So this is gonna be machine used with sterile material, so it's incredible. All right, so let's do this now with a very little coat, the thinnest possible, but it's hard. It's metal and it's hard, especially to be thin. Be thin, because if it's not thin, well, the needle is not gonna go in. Well, the needle is, you see what I mean? The needle is adjustable, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Alright, so now that we have that, I'm gonna, you know what? Best is to open it a bit. Not too much. You don't want too big. Just a bit, which I don't think. In Greek you would say, I made a hole in the water. Meaning I did nothing. Oh, there we go. Alright. So this is what we need as a base. Alright. And there we go. Now we're gonna adjust. No, I don't need to adjust it. So, all right. So I'm imprisoning it, the needle, because if it's snug, this thing, like this material on metal, if it's snug and with a bit of oil, like it's gonna roll so nice. Like, you see? You see it? So it's important to have a, if you don't have a motor like this, well, figure something to make it like this. This is how your needle jumps. Me, I have this motors like this, you know, pre-made. So there you go. Now we're just gonna finalize it. I don't care, it's imprisoned in there, it doesn't matter. As long as it's straight. Alright, so we have our needle ready. Alright, so we achieved this. This is how it goes. I'm going like this. It's going like this. You see it jumping? You see it? And demonstrate. See? So let me take this out. This is my practice. Alright, so now we have this, and now we have to connect this to this and then put this on. That's it. Oops, wrong way. Okay, we're gonna put it in like this and connect it. That's it. That's all we need to do. So let's close this guy out once the machine is ready. Remember about the screw. See? That's what we want. Want a bit loose. Not too much. And now we're gonna solidify it. No choice, because it has to be solid from now on. And don't forget about roughness of it. Don't worry. We have it covered with the heat. Remember? We really have to compact it when it's time to compact it. Not yet, because it's still too hot. It's because, don't forget, the tube is plastic, so very, you don't want to distort the tube from the heat. That's it. That's what I wanted. I wanted something like that. All right. So filler, and let's get. So we're gonna have to achieve this from now on. Actually, it's better with the tube inside. This thing is to be shaping it at the same time. Once it starts getting a bit colder, because remember, distortion of the plastic. Damn it. PSG and Barcelona and Liverpool. Leipzig is already started. So now I'm gonna try to reach this part here. Okay, this part has to be a thick part. In order to make it thicker, like I push it inside the material, like, you know, fill it in from the inside where I want it to be thicker. Because if not, you could crack, obviously. And this material, I'm not worried with it because it just takes the shape. It's so liquidy at this point. I'm gonna get a bit burnt. Oops, sorry guys, I was out of focus. I'm so sorry. Didn't mean that. So, getting somewhere. Yeah, we're getting somewhere. And now I'm gonna do it like this. Yeah, something like that. Because this part here It's so smooth and nice, it just rolls on my arm, like my hand, I mean. Like for this, it's like really smooth because I sanded it with so many different grades of sandpaper. And this material is incredible, like seriously. Like the whole basic of it, you know? Alright. Got a bit of paper. I'm gonna put hand sanitizer. Very available lately. Very available. Just to take out the paper, because that dissolved the paper. Because I don't want paper inside my tattoo machine. So as I said, it's hand sanitizer I use, so it's like 75% alcohol. Alright, so from here on, I'm gonna have to be checking like this. I'm gonna, you see? So I'm shaping it. Alright. Okay, we're getting there. My slinky. Alright, come here, you slinky. Let's see how it's gonna end up on the hand. And I'm shaping it right now. Like to my hand, you know? It's a bit hot, but hey, I'm used to it. Because once it takes the shape, it's keep the shape, you know? Okay, we're getting there. Now actually I'm gonna start on this part of the base. Okay, which is this part, I guess, here. I'm gonna have my, do I want my wires like this or like this? Because they're opposite. One has them up, down. No, actually they're both up, down. Should I put it sideways? Sideways. I'll do the opposite. Whatever. I can always try to shape it before it gets cold. You want to reinforce it here, you know. That's why I'm started from this part. I went a bit too in, but it doesn't matter because I have my tools here. Didn't realize how in I was. I'm not worried about that because I'm gonna heat it up right now. Take it out of the way. Oops. We don't need a wiggle, huh? You do? Sorry, I just head bumped at it. Alright, let's continue because that slowed me down and it took the heat out. It's gonna look something like that. Okay, we're good. Remember, this part has to be far, 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 like we would say in French. Strong, far. Has to be fort. And also going outwards. So something like that to begin with. It's still hot, so it's very manageable still. It's gonna be something like that. Okay, we're not far. I said, like, this part has to be packed in. I could push it inside and like let it just see what I'm doing. It's packing it from the inside. This is what's gonna be my connection. There we go. There's your machine. There it is. Okay, from here on, important has to be straight. Straight. Okay, so now I'm going to be looking downwards, like I made it solid enough. It's wiggly, but I made it solid enough to look downwards to it and see that it's centered. Because it goes left, right, so you see the needle? Goes one to the right, one to the left. So it has to be